Today there's two major Kentucky Derby prep races. The first one is the Risen Stars Stakes, which will be run at the fairgrounds in Louisiana. And the other Kentucky Derby prep race is the El Camino Real Derby, which will be run at Golden Gate Fields today. In this handicapping, I'm just going to focus on the El Camino Real Derby. And before I provide you my insight who I think will win this race, I'll give you the little background on the El Camino Real Derby. It's actually the Bay Area's biggest Kentucky Derby prep race, and it's for quite a while it's been a Grade 3 race. This race has produced multiple stakes Preakness winners, as you can see here by this article on the Daily Racing Form. It has Gate Dancer, Tanks Prospect, Snow Chief, and Tabasco Cat. One other horse that also ran in this El Camino Real Derby, who finished second in the race, but also won the Preakness, was Charismatic, who in 1999 also won the Kentucky Derby and almost won the Triple Crown. But however, since in 1999, the El Camino Real Derby hasn't produced a quality horse to even run in the Triple Crown races. And in 2008, the El Camino was run at Bay Meadows for the last time, and then it moved to Golden Gate Fields. In terms of why I think the El Camino Real Derby hasn't produced a quality Triple Crown or runner in the classic race, it's due to the fact that Golden Gate Fields has a synthetic racetrack, and it's the only major Derby prep race that's actually run in synthetic dirt. And with that, it's really hard to gauge which horse could actually run an actual on dirt races. Last year was the first time that the El Camino Real Derby lost its graded status. It used to be a Grade 3, but now it was starting last year an ungraded stakes race, and that was probably because it's due to the lack of quality runners of horses from that race to run in the classic races. However, this year, even though it's not a major Kentucky Derby prep races, the actual winner for the El Camino Real Derby will win automatic berth to the Preakness Stakes. And I think that's a pretty big quality in terms of the quality of horses that's going to run. And I think it's been one of the strongest fields so far in the El Camino Real Derby for quite some time. And that's due to the fact that the winner will have opportunity to run in the Preakness Stakes. Even though they might not have enough points to run in the Derby, at least they have opportunity to run the Preakness Stakes. And with that, we have a pretty big field in terms of this race. So before I decide to select my winner, there are some horses that have some appealing interests in terms of this race, and I'm going to mention some of those horses. The actual first horse I'm going to mention is actually Kingly. He's trained by Bob Baffert, who trained two Triple Crown winners, American Pharaoh, and last year's Triple Crown winner in Justify. And Kingly is a blue-blooded horse. The sire is Tappet, and his dam is Just Whistle for Dixie. This Kingly is actually a full brother to a $1 million yearling in Moyhamen. So he's coming here in this race as the favorite. One concern I have about Kingly is that he hasn't run in synthetic, so that's going to be my main concern. And at 2-1, he might be in my exotics, but he's not going to be my choice to win. The other horse that's sort of also appealing is is Major Cobb right here, and he's at now the morning line was 20-1, and he's actually done pretty run well at the Golden Gate Fields, and one if you want a long shot at 21, it's a pretty good long shot, and why he's a pretty appealing in terms of a long shot is not only has he done ran well in Golden Gate Fields, as you could see, in terms of his record at Golden Gate Fields, raced 5 times, won once, and he's actually placed in all 5 races. But in terms of his value, I noted that he's actually a half brother. The sire, New Year's Day, is actually a half brother to Kingley. So if Kingley is too big of a short odds or low odds for you, you could consider maybe Major Cobb as another long shot. The other horse that's actually also appealing is Eagle Song, and if you look at his race, it's he's mostly run in Europe. However, 2 of his wins, his lifetime wins, have been on synthetic surfaces. So, and Golden Gate Fields is on a synthetic surface, Tapeta. So, I think this is going to be another at 5-1. I think that's a good quality long shot, and I underlined his sire, No Nay Never, who's actually a son of Scat Daddy. So even though he has a European pedigree and he's mostly run on in Europe, the fact that he has 2 wins on synthetic surface, I think at 5-1, that's a good quality long shot if you decide to play Eagle Song. And as I mentioned, his sire is a son of Scat Daddy, which leads to my actual pick of the race. So here's the actual pick of my race. It's going to be another Twist of Faith. As I mentioned for the previous horse about the sire of who is the son of Scat Daddy. Well, this is actually a son of Scat Daddy, who is the sire of the Triple Crown winner Justify. And he's, in my opinion, the best local shot. When I mean local, the one who's been running in Golden Gate Fields, our best local shot to actually run in the classic races. So his odds right now is, I think, is about 3-2 or 5-2. Let me double check. It's actually 5-2. Sorry about that. So he's 5-2, and he's run at twice at Golden Gate Fields and won both times, and even he had he's actually has the highest speed figure, I believe, on this of all the entries. If you see here, the 84, and he last run last month at also Golden Gate Fields. So in terms of a quality blue blood horse running in this race, and he's a local horse, I'm picking another Twist of Faith to win the El Camino Real Derby. And if he does win, I'm not sure if he'll run in the Kentucky Derby, but if he does win, I think this is a good opportunity to keep in mind that this could be a quality good Preakness horse, considering his sire is Scat Daddy, and even though you don't see a lot of horses, blue red horses, running at Golden Gate Fields, I think this could be the Bay Area's best shot of maybe winning a classic race, probably since Charismatic, who actually finished second in the El Camino Real Derby in 1999. But that's actually going to be my favorite, another Twist of Fate at 5-2, and who's run at Golden Gate Fields and with the pedigree. I think this is an opportunity to look at maybe a potential Preakness winner for this year if another Twist of Fate wins. I'll be heading to Golden Gate Fields to place a wager on this on this race. And besides another twist of fate, I might do some exotics underneath with Kingly, Major Cobb, and Eagle Song. So the weather, it's been raining quite a while and quite hard here in the Bay Area, but it's not going to deter me from going to Golden Gate Fields today to place a bet on another twist of fate. And I hope that whoever wins this race, whether it's another twist of fate or Kingly, and if they run the Preakness and they win, I hope that Golden Gate Fields will get its graded status back. And because of that, since there's a automatic berth to the Preakness, whoever wins this race, if somebody does win this El Camino and wins the Preakness, I think there's the El Camino Real Derby, hopefully next year, will be a graded stakes race. So, whether it's the Risen Stars Stakes today or the El Camino Real Derby, good luck to everybody. And yeah, just good luck to everybody in your bet today, and hope that you find your Derby horse today or in the future.